Hello, thanks for stopping by the Mr. Fide channel. I'm Mr. Fide. Not a mental health professional, just a guy with some free time on his hands. And in that free time, I am doing a chapter-by-chapter report of Margaret Singer's book, Cults in Our Midst, and applying her general observations of cults to the practices of Scientology while speaking in my own opinion. We will pick up on Chapter 9, entitled The Threat of Intimidation. She begins by mentioning that some small cults and groups do not conspire to rule the world. However, mentions that larger groups with international connections seek to increase their size, wealth, power, and political agenda. And just a few days ago, the country of Germany hosted a conference to discuss the issues along with other problems they are having with Scientology operations. Singer's first subsection is co-opted professionals. She discusses that often members of cultic groups seek out and recruit people who normally are expected to keep information confidential. In the before-mentioned German conference, one attendee from the United States said he was approached inside security by a stranger who handed him a photocopy Scientology magazine intended to intimidate him before he met with others at the conference. Other members attending said that they got similar messages, although outside airport security. Singer, in a later section entitled Intimidating Scholars, talked of a similar section where the members of the American Psychiatry Association were each sent letters before attending an APA conference about cults and told that appropriate actions would be taken regarding their comments at the conference. Each speaker, in turn, read aloud a section of that letter. In a section entitled Harassing Journalists, Reporters, and Writers, Singer lists a plethora of instances, including the most famous case of Paulette Cooper and how she was harassed by the Church of Scientology to the point where it is believed that Scientologists tried to ruin her life to the point where she would either end up in prison or commit suicide. Fortunately for Cooper, she did receive justice. Others who have fled the country to escape Scientology's grasp are still waiting. In this section, entitled Manipulating the Public Image of the Cult, Singer tells of how public relations firms are retained to promote a positive image. I do not feel I need to give any further examples here other than this ad, placed on the article about the German conference from today that I mentioned earlier, and nearly any search that contains the word Scientology, and many places any search about religion in general. In the section Restricting and Controlling Research, she mentions that often some things are restricted and on a need-to-know basis for anyone outside of the group. It is widely believed that actor Tom Cruise's wife, Katie Holmes, is on an accelerated course so the couple can have a more free and open discussion about their religion. In the section Threatening of Legal Suits, Singer talks of cults that have their own legal staff, and that the threats of these lawsuits can be particularly intimidating because of the experience of defending oneself against a group with its own legal staff can be devastating. This is Kendrick Moxon, who may be the best-known attorney for the Church of Scientology. He, I believe, is one of the many who have signed a billion-year contract, that is billion with a B, to become a member of the C organization. He is quite often involved in Scientology's more controversial cases. As you can see in this video that has once mysteriously been removed from YouTube for reasons I am not aware of, here Mr. Moxon informs a protester that if he does not maintain a certain distance, that he will file a lawsuit against him. The protester informed Mr. Moxon that he had spoken with the police earlier that day and confirmed he is within his legal guidelines. In the video, Mr. Moxon informs the protester that if he continues, he will file a lawsuit against him. As you can tell from the pictures from this video, it is believed by the protester that Moxon is acting unethically, possibly using a threat of a lawsuit to stop him from a legal protest. It does seem that Mr. Moxon might be worried about his statements when he realizes that he is being recorded and seems to instinctively reach for the camera. A few moments later, Mr. Moxon asks if the protester prefers to be sued and walks away. And the video ends after Mr. Moxon states that he will file a lawsuit against him the following day. Singer does mention the former Cult Awareness Network, also known as CAN, and years earlier, CAN was bankrupted after lawsuits filed by members of the Church of Scientology and by Jason Scott, a member of a Pentecostal religion, represented by Kendrick Moxon. Mr. Moxon was asked if private investigators were hired to investigate the Cult Awareness Network, to discredit them, or to dig up dirt. Mr. Moxon answered that he does not use that tactic. Moxon does admit to the use of private investigators, but not to dig up dirt. But this private investigator claims Moxon hired him to do just that. Moxon offered 60 Minutes sworn statements saying that Kisser arranged kidnappings with the help of this man to kidnap and deprogram adults in cults. However, when interviewed, he claims that he did sign that statement, but it is not a truthful one. When asked why he signed a statement that was not truthful, he admitted that he was a drug addict and approached by one of Mr. Moxon's private investigators, who offered him money to sign it. The money, however, never materialized. When 50 Scientologists from around the country wrote virtually identical letters to Can, with one of the letters included a model letter with handwritten instructions to rewrite the letter in their own words, Kisser suspected that the people writing these letters were out to take control of Can and denied their applications. Following this, she was hit with several religious discrimination lawsuits. These lawsuits bankrupted the organization. When asked for a statement about Can, Heber Jentz from the Church of Scientology compared them to Nazis and to the KKK. Singer speaks of therapists and lawyers who have been retaliated against by certain types of groups, but did not mention the possibility of what might happen if a member of Scientology would gain a position in the district attorney's office. And that is where I'm going to have to stop. I will be back next time with Chapter 10 that starts a new section of the book called How Can We Help Survivors to Escape and Recover? Until then, I'm Mr. Fide.